Okay, going back into the X window system now. Okay, this setup looks exactly as the other one did. I've got the clock, I've got the calculator, I've got the program up here, and still no contextual menu because I'm only running ecwm. But I can move the windows around, do all these things. What I want to point out on this one is even though the window manager is running, if I type exit into the terminal window and hit enter, the X window session goes away. Now let's take a look quickly at the xnit-rc file to explain exactly why that's happening. It's probably obvious, but let's point it out nevertheless. Highlight, make this text larger. The reason that happened is because I have xterm on the last line. So again, the last program that runs is the control program. It's the program that is responsible for keeping the entire X window system up. And even though the window manager, you might think that it would have more control than some other program, it does not. I could have put the clock down there on the last line. I could have put the calculator down there on the last line. I could put anything down there on the last line that I want, as long as the last program in the list is running, the window manager or the X window system stays up and running. Generally speaking, you will put the window manager down at the bottom because that does usually make the most sense. But in the case of a window manager like ecwm that has no way to exit on its own, it doesn't necessarily make the most sense to put the window manager at the bottom, because once all your other programs are closed out, all you can do is hit Control-Alt-Backspace to get out of the X window system, and that might be a little disconcerting for some people. So let's make a couple of changes here to the startup. We'll go ahead and leave the root window, or we'll leave the root color set because I hate looking at the ugly gray background, and we'll just start up a different window manager. We'll go with icewm-lite, L-I-T-E. Let me save this and come right back. Okay, now I'm going to go back into the X window system with the icewm-lite window manager running. Okay, it's up and running, and you can see that it's also a very lightweight window manager. There's nothing here to look at. The root window color has been set to this green color that I like because of the X set root line that I left in the xnit-rc file. The icewm-lite window manager gives us a little bit more options. If I right click out here on the root window, sometimes called the desktop, I get a contextual menu. And let me just briefly zoom in just a little bit on that. The contextual menu gives me a few different options. I can start a terminal emulator, Firefox, GIMP, and some other things that I have set up. Let me go ahead and back out. Start by opening MRXVT. It's one of my personal favorite terminal emulators. As you can see, icewm gives us a little bit more to look at in terms of border decorations and all that. We have, matter of fact, I'll zoom in on that. Okay, here I'm zoomed in a little bit on the corner. You can see we have the X up here in the upper right corner. We have this box here, which is the maximize or restore button, or we have this button here which will minimize the program, and we have this one which will shade the program window, which is a concept that's a little bit unfamiliar to most Windows users. And now I'll go ahead and zoom back out. So the icewm program gives us not only does it give us a border around the program window, which is large enough that you can actually click on it and resize the window easily enough, and it also gives you a title bar at the top of the program, which gives you plenty of pixel space to get right in there and click on it and move the window around. And the reason it's moving the outline, by the way, is just because I prefer outline movement. It's just a little bit faster. The icewm does have the options to do opaque window movement if you like that. I just thought I'd throw that out there. So let's start a basic program like Abbey Word again, just one that I kind of happen to like. And it looks pretty, our desktop's starting to look kind of normal with the ability to move programs around and have buttons in the corners and all these. And if I want to start, the familiar taskbar that we were looking at a little bit ago, you can see down in the bottom there that we have a taskbar similar to like Windows XP or whatever. If I minimize this program, I can bring it back just by clicking down on the taskbar. If I minimize this one and this one, I can click down here in the taskbar and they're right there. Let me get a zoom in on the taskbar so you can get a little better look at that. There briefly is a closer look at the taskbar down there at the bottom. If we minimize programs, then you can see them down there at the bottom and then you can bring them right back.